Hey everybody, I hope you guys are all doing well today. I'm coming at you with another stimulus update for Thursday, August 6th. And on this episode, I'm going to tell you exactly where the negotiations stand, where each side is really finding some common ground, which is a good thing. And there's still some separation in a number of places. I'm going to tell you about that as well. But also the deadline for tomorrow. I'm sure you guys are hearing about this, that tomorrow is the day it's going to happen. If there's a deal to be done, it's going to be done on Friday. I'm going to give you my thoughts on that, whether or not there will be a deal tomorrow, and if there is, when you're going to get your stimulus check, and if there isn't, what does that mean going forward? In addition, my mom also called me yesterday and she asked me bluntly, Vin, are we going to get another stimulus check? Can you just tell me the truth? And I gave her an answer, and what I'm going to do at the end of this episode is I'm going to give you the same exact answer I gave to her, because if I told it to her, it means I really believe it, and I'm going to share it with you guys as well. You can also see I am currently outside, which means my power is still off at my house. If you saw yesterday's episode, you know the tropical storm came up the East Coast and it hit me here in southern New York, and our power has been off since 2 o'clock on Tuesday. So this is really day 3. So I'm here at a family member's house. I got refreshed. I figured I'd come outside and share with you guys all of the stimulus news. So let's talk about it. Where are they finding some common ground? They're finding the common ground right now on the unemployment, which is good. The Republicans came out and said we want $200 a week, and then we want to go to 70% of the wages earned in October. The Democrats said no, we want $600 a week, and we want to continue that throughout the rest of the year. They are coming very close to common ground on that, probably somewhere around $400 to $600 a week, and then it will funnel down over time. That's a good thing. They also have common ground on the stimulus check, which means they want to send you another stimulus check, and they want to increase that a little bit to the adult dependents. We don't know if it's the $500 number, the $1,200 number for adult dependents, and we don't have the exact number on kids yet, but they're finding some good common ground there. They also are finding common ground with the research and the continuing research into the medicines that are going to work, also for funding hospitals and funding schools. Where they're not finding common ground is especially with helping out states and local municipalities. The Democrats want to give them another $1 trillion. The Republicans don't really want to budge there, but they are finding some common ground on the liability protections. So there's really some good news. In the midst of all of the bad news you might be hearing about how there is no way a deal can be done, there is some common ground movement. However, there's a big disagreement on the amount of money that should be spent on the next stimulus bill. Obviously, Republicans are coming in at $1 trillion. I do believe that they are willing to move up to $1.5 or $2 trillion. And we know that Democrats are coming in at $3.4 trillion for the next bill. And so far, from the mouth, still, it has not changed yet. I haven't heard any news separate from this. Nancy Pelosi wants to stick at that $3.4 trillion number. And now a lot of people say that's just a tactic. She's just hardlining. But in all honesty, we're coming down to the end, right? So, we have recesses coming up, and obviously we know that they're going to suspend those recesses for another week or so. But still, it's time to end the game a little bit. You got to be a little bit more transparent, and you have to reveal that you're ready to negotiate and come to a real good number. And Mark Meadows just came out, and you can see he's frustrated with the negotiations. He feels like they're not making any movement, that they're not getting close enough in the areas where they need to get close to. So in my opinion, what I think needs to happen, if they can't come to an agreement, I think that they need to be more clear with the public. I think the Republicans should reveal to the public exactly what they are willing to do and the numbers that they are willing to come up to. They should tell everybody, listen, in our negotiations, we said we agreed to $600 unemployment. We agreed to the $1,200 boost. We agreed to $400 billion for schools. We agreed to increasing the dependents pay. We agreed to the hazard pay. We agreed to moving it up to $2.2 trillion. So that the public can know exactly the moves that they were willing to make. And I feel like the Democrats should do the same thing. Where were you willing to go as well? Because you know what? We're the public, and we vote every one of you in. And it's time to stop playing games. You need to let us know exactly what's going on there, especially if you don't make a deal. If you go through Friday and you tell the people of the United States of America, we couldn't find common ground, I want to know where each side was standing, and I know you want to know the same exact thing, because it's a little frustrating that they're not being very clear with us. We're just getting these press conferences where they're telling us, well, we're trying to work with them, we're trying to tell them why, and one side says that they're really trying, the other side says the other side's not. Enough of that stuff. Stop with the games. People need help. This shouldn't be a partisan thing. Obviously, there's going to be a number of Republicans who are very conservative who aren't going to vote for it no matter what. They need to just be kicked aside at this point, come up with a bill that works. So what do I think is going to happen? I think tomorrow there's going to be some really good progress made. I don't know that they're going to come up with a deal tomorrow, but I feel like at the end of the day tomorrow when they have their press conferences that they're going to give you some really good news. That's what I sense. I think they're going to be like, we're getting very close. We might not exactly be there, but that's okay. They don't actually have to hit the deadline tomorrow. Even though you've been hearing that, they do. They don't. Mitch McConnell also stopped the recess for another week. Mark Meadows and Secretary of Treasury Steven Mnuchin are willing to meet every single day as necessary, and they're obviously representing the Republicans and the White House. We know Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer have suspended their recess, so there doesn't need to be a deal by the deadline. I don't think there is going to be one. I think they're too far apart, but I think we're going to see some really positive news from tomorrow. If we don't see positive news from tomorrow, they need to start being more clear with the public. And that's where we need to make our voices heard and let them know it's time for you to tell us what's going on and where each of you are willing to move, because your negotiations in secret are no longer good enough for us. And I don't want to hear you coming out in your press conferences and putting your best face forward and pretending what you're doing with the other side. I want to see the numbers. Give me a number on a piece of paper, a hard copy, so that I can tell everybody out there, all the viewers, this is what each side is willing to do, and we can decide who needs to be voted out, because that's really what needs to happen. We need to know. But I think they're going to come up with a deal. I don't think it's going to be tomorrow, but I think it'll probably be within the next week or so before they go on recess so that they can vote on it. Now, if they can get a deal done tomorrow, that means you will get your stimulus check in the next couple of weeks. Secretary of Treasury Steven Mnuchin was already very clear about that. The computer systems are set up and ready to go. So if they can get the deal done, you're going to still get your stimulus check very quickly. It's not something you're going to have to wait on, which is a really good thing. If they can't get the deal done till next week, you're just going to have to wait, obviously, an additional week. In addition, if they don't get a deal done, it does look like President Donald Trump is going to be issuing an executive order by stating an economic national emergency. And with that executive order, there's really two important things he can do. Number one, he can stop payroll taxes. He would probably have the authority to do so, and that would be a little bit of an economic stimulus, but only for the people that are working, which is not good enough. And it wouldn't be enough of a stimulus for those people, and it would benefit those who make more money. So not good enough, but at least if he can do it, that's something he can do. He can also end the eviction moratorium. So basically, nobody can get evicted for a certain amount of time. I don't believe he can send out stimulus checks, although there is still some money that is in some funds, and they might be able to pull that money together and do something with it, either for unemployment or more stimulus checks. We have yet to see how much that money is and what they can do with that money. So there might be an executive order from Donald Trump if they can't get their acts together. But I expect good news tomorrow. Maybe not a deal, but I think they're going to come out in their press conference and say, we're getting actually really close, because I think both sides are going to realize it's time to stop playing the games. We need to come together on a number, and both sides should realize that number's got to be right around $2 to $2.2 trillion, and that's a meeting in the halfway in the middle there. So these are really all the updates I can give you guys. This is exactly what's coming out. I can't share with you something that's not happening. There's no inside information to give you. Exactly what's being reported on the conferences is exactly what I'm giving you. They're press conferences. My mom asked me yesterday, Vin, are we going to get a stimulus check? What do you think? I told her, yes. Yes, we are going to get a stimulus check. The only thing I said is when. When are you going to get it? They are going to come together at some point. Because if they don't, you want to see the American public get upset really quick? Wait until they come out and tell everybody, we couldn't come to a deal, there isn't going to be any deal. And then Donald Trump says, well, I'm going to give an executive order for payroll taxes and to stop evictions, which is great. But no unemployment continuing and no stimulus checks. You can't do it. The American public is just going, it's going to be a big problem. So I don't think that's going to happen. I think both sides realize that. They're just playing really, really hardball right now, and it's not the right time for them to do it. Play hardball on something else. Play hardball on something that's more partisan or something that's more political, not helping out the American people during the middle of a pandemic when they need it. I know you guys agree with me. This is the update I have for you guys. I will continue to keep you uninformed. I hope my power turns on soon. Thank you all, by the way, for giving me all the well wishes and the prayers that everyone's been sending. There's a lot of people still without power here. Matter of fact, probably over 100,000 people in the area where my electrical company services. So it's not just me, it's a lot of different people. So they said that they are going to get the power on to the vast majority of people by next week, August 11th. I hope it doesn't take that much time. I think I got to get a generator in the future. I'm a little jealous of my neighbors on my road that I hear their generators going. But you know what? With all of that said and done, we still have so much that we are blessed to have, especially nowadays. And so we're not going to look at it and be upset about the situation at hand. We're going to move forward. And I thank you guys for moving forward on the channel with me. You guys are awesome. And reading your comments and your encouragement about that stuff is so phenomenal to read. You have no idea. I went through hundreds of comments. Even if I don't comment back to you, I just read through them all. I'm sitting back. I have my phone. That's all I got. I can find some internet somewhere, get my LTE data to go off, and I read comments from you guys, and it's really awesome to see it. So if you haven't subscribed yet, or you haven't liked the video yet, go ahead and like it. Subscribe to the channel. I would love to have you come along with me. As always, I will catch you guys next time.